I will say that if they do one thing, they still have to establish a run, because you saw from the last 2 weeks, the only way that Sam Bradford feels comfortable and the offensive line can block for him in the pocket is that they give some sense of a run game that they would have to respect. Even though the Giants don't have a pass rush, all they have is Ayers, and then they have an old man on the other side. I really think that they're not pass rushers enough to really put an impact on, so you can't throw down the field. But today, this team needs to start out and get Murray going. Murray needs to have a substantial game. Murray needs to have a dominant game in order for not only one, this team to go forward with him, but number two, for them to rely on him.
Yeah, and obviously that pass rush is something the Giants have struggled with all season long. But I'll ask you this. The Eagles don't have a lot of talent at wide receiver. They're going to be missing Aguilar. Do they have the weapons in the pass game to go up against where the Giants are deficient?
I think so. If we can get Matthews catching the ball, I mean, that's been his Achilles heel. He's been open. He's made himself open with the ability to create separation. He just hasn't been able to catch the ball. He hasn't caught the ball at all. So he's definitely a weapon. If we can get him open enough that they can pay a little attention to him, then Josh Huff can come in the equation and run after the catch. I think that's going to be the key also. If Josh Huff can be an impact player, run after the catch, they'll be good this day.
All right, Barrett Brooks for Barrett's Breakdown here on the Sports Best. Let me get your take on the Eagles' offensive line, and if it's playing better, what are you seeing from them over the last couple of weeks where they have run the ball a little bit better, including last week?
Well, they've shown the ability to go in and run downhill. They're running with a sense of urgency now, and also they're running in man concepts instead of running sweeps outside. They're running in between the tackles. Now, that worked very, very well with Ryan Matthews, but he's hurt today. I don't know if he's going to play or if he's even going to play. That's really the problem, if he's going to play. But if not, Murray needs to get in, settle down, read the double teams that they've established with their inside running game, and go from there. If he can hit the hole fast, hit the hole hard, and take the 5 yards here and the 4 yards here, then the offense can stay on time. But he kind of seems to tap dance back there a little bit instead of hitting the hole downhill, and that wasn't really why they brought him in. So he needs to change his whole philosophy, hit the ball downhill, hit that trap, one-step cut, whatever you want to call it, and then they can go from there.
I think, too, if you look at the last year, these two teams played in the final week of the season, and Jordan Matthews in that game had 8 catches for 105 yards and a touchdown. He does a lot of his work out of the slot here. Is Matthews a guy that the Eagles need to really start to feature a little bit more? I know he's had the drops, but he is their best offensive receiving weapon, and it just doesn't seem like he's had that breakout game.
As a guy, they're going to have to he's going to have to be the target that the Giants are going to have to look at the double team. We need him to go out and make enough noise that they're going to double team him, bring some attention this way. That way it's going to open up for everybody else. I think Miles Austin and Zach Ertz, all their production is really predicated on Matthews getting open and virtually bringing the secondary and paying attention to him. And if they do that, then it's good. But I don't know, what Matthews I get there. Is it going to be the pass-catching Matthews that we've seen previous times, or is it going to be the guy that has all these drops? Right now, the Eagles lead the whole NFL in drops. I mean, it doesn't make sense. They are 17 drops already, and they had 25 all last year. So that's become a substantial problem with this Eagles team.
We know the Eagles put up 39 points, 519 yards of offense last week against the Saints. What did you see in that game, Barrett, that they can continue to build on to make us feel like there is going to start to be some consistency in their offense? Because I think that's the big problem, and the question for them, Barrett, is they don't have consistency in the offense to make us feel like, all right, this is Chip Kelly in the offense, and they're going to put up 25 to 28 points a game. I just don't have that feeling yet.
Well, what they did, they stepped in the right direction. Chip Kelly realized that he can't run this scat protection and send 5 receivers out and lead the offensive line to pick up the rest of everybody else. That means you have 5 blockers when they're bringing 7- and 6-man rushes. They just don't have enough to block. So what you do, you bring in another tight end, another receiver. Not another receiver, but another tight end and an back to help with the blocking schemes. those guys virtually become a 7- and 6-man protection as opposed to being a 5-man protection. So that's how he took his game to the next level, keeping in extra blockers, running play actions. That type of things turn into max protection. That's why you see a lot of longer developing routes guys are catching down the field. It's because now they have an extra blocker to pick up that extra defender coming, and now Sam Bradford feels a little more in sync with his receivers because he has the time that he didn't have when they were just running scat protection.
Yeah, and that's a big question. You know, I heard Lee say the other day when he was asked about Eli Manning and why he's having success, and he said, well, he looks much more comfortable in year 2 of the Ben McAdoo offense. And you wonder of his thing with, meaning, yeah, he's going to have some inconsistencies and some bumps in the road, but if we could just get him to that second year with the arrow pointing up, he's going to really take off next year.
Well, you know what, and it's bad because this is virtually the same offense. The McAdoo offense is virtually West Coast. And West Coast is what a small set what the Eagles are trying to do. Coach Shermer, those guys, they have, sprinkles of what they do. They want timing routes. That's why in New York, Larry down at Donnell, the tight end, a very, very good weapon for Eli Manning because they run stuff like stick nods. Those type of routes open up just because the space have available to them because they have all these receivers out on pass routes, which leaves those seams open. Was kind of the same concept that they need to do for Bradford. Bradford is a guy that if he gets on time, head low, then he becomes better. He's not a guy that you want to start up and get him going and then stop. Once it's hard for him to get back into that consistency, and that's what we've been having him. That's why we need to start off early. The key to this game: start off fast. Start off early because they've only scored about 3 points in the first quarter, that's 5 or 6 games. So if they do this, I think this team can be a definite threat to this Giants team. But Eli Manning is definitely playing on a higher level at this point than Sam Bradford.
There's no doubt had one of his better seasons here out of the gates, and Sam has still been very inconsistent. One area, too, I want to look at the Eagles defense. This Jordan Hicks kid, he has really made an impact. You wonder if the Giants are going to try to go after him tonight with a guy like Vereen. How do you like that matchup, Vereen against the Eagle linebackers? Because I watched the kid Vereen. He's very good at catching the ball out of the back. That seems like the Giants might go after, especially if Beckham is more of a decoy.
Well, you know what? I think the key to the game also plays. Jordan Hicks is one of the guys they don't have to line up a safety on Vereen or a safety on Larry Donnell. Those guys are going to be the impact player. Those are the guys that Eli Manning is going to look towards with those receivers being as hampered and injured that they are. So the key matchup, can Larry Donnell or can Shane Vereen match up against this younger, faster Jordan Hicks? I think he's played phenomenal this year. He was going to be like the third down back, but he's pressed himself. He's been pressed in because of injury to be a starter, but he's definitely stepped up and showed that he is available and is good enough to play in this league.
Yeah, and obviously I think Billy Davis mentioned that even when everybody's healthy, they're going to have to keep him on the field. No Kendricks tonight. Obviously Alonzo out as well. So it's going to be Hicks and D'Amico in the middle there. I want to ask you about Fletcher Cox. You played the offensive line, and this guy seems to be wrecking havoc. If you're the Giants tonight, are you giving Eric Flowers some help with Larry Donnell on Fletcher Cox?
Well, you're going to have to. You're definitely going to have to. I mean, that's a young side they have on that left side. They're going to have to leave somebody in just because they watched the game last week and saw the way Wade Cox, Fletcher Cox played last week, being a defensive player of the week. He went out there and owned that offensive line. On a rookie, he was going up against the rookie P. Well, now he has to go against Pugh, which is Giants second round pick from Syracuse last year, and then also they have the first round pick this year. Flowers from Miami. Now, you're going to line up a rookie and a second-year guy against a guy that's going to be all-pro this year. Cox can have a field day if they let that happen. So they're going to do some things, try to change things around. I think they're going to try to change Eli's launch point. They're going to boot him out a little more just to get him out that pocket because, it's not just Cox that's playing good. Benny Logan is playing good also. Cedric Thornton is playing good. And I think you will see a healthy dose of Benny Curry today. So those guys can get after the passer. They can get out the passer on. It's not always the sack that you worry about. it's the guy when, after you finish the pass play and a guy like Cox taps Eli Manning on the shoulder and say, hey, I was almost there. Those are the little things that you do, and they have a kind of a unsettling feeling that will be in Eli Manning's head every once in a while because, man, he almost hit me just then. These guys on this side can't protect me. And once you get those things flying through Eli Manning's head, he's been known to be very sporadic in how he throws the ball.
Well, I know you watched the tape getting ready for this game, Barrett. Last year in Week 6, the Eagles sacked Manning 8 times in a shutout, and in the final week of the year, they got him 4 times. So 12 sacks in the 2 games. Is that something that is unlikely that they are able to sack Eli Manning this time around?
No, I think it might be a little more because you have a little bit better consistency going in with this Bill Davis defense. I think he's actually made a better sense of how he coaches the game. He's putting his guys in great positions. So I think that you're going to see a lot more production out of the guys up front simply because the guys on the tail end are a lot better than what you saw last year. Even with Maxwell, he's going to play better. They're putting him in better positions. He's a zone in front of him. He's attacking downhill, which makes him a better player. And you look at the guys on the other side, Nolan Carroll, they run like we call it quarter half, which is almost man concepts on the quarter side, where depending on the route, the defensive back will line up man and carry him for the entirety of the play. And on the other side, they have zone where they can put Maxwell in position where he can, back up, let things develop in front of him, then come downhill and make plays. When you put your guys in a better position, and they are in a better position as opposed they were last year, they're not worried about the safety play because, those 2 safeties they have right now are playing lights out. When you have that consistency, you can do more on the front end as far as sending blitz. You can bring guys on different cat blitzes, which are corner blitzes from out there in the corner. Those are things they couldn't do last year that they can do this year because they have better guys at those positions.
Yeah, and we know that special teams in games like this, these primetime Monday night division games, Barrett, it seems that special teams could rear their head in here. And this kid, Dwayne Harris, averaging 30 yards per kick return. He seems to be pretty good. And we know on the other side you have a guy like Sproles. So it could be a game where whoever special teams are better might be the difference tonight with the way that these 2 teams both stop the run.
You know what? I'm saying this right now. Josh Huff will be an instant impact on special teams today. I think this is where he turns the corner as far as where his contribution is going to be on this team. And it'll be on a big special teams kickoff return this game, either a big kickoff return or a big play with him at gunner. So that's what I'm thinking right now. I'm feeling it right now. Let's see what Josh Huff can do with added responsibility, not just in the special team side, but also on the offensive end of the side.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about Huff. Chip Kelly mentioned how he's an explosive player. That seems like something that lacks from this offense. Aguilar being out, it seems that Huff would be the guy that gets more snaps tonight.
He has to. He definitely has to. And they had to put him in a position to get the ball early. Let's get him out on some flare passes or maybe some speed screens, get the ball in his hands, some slant routes, and let him work after the catch. I think he's best when he does that. That's when he turns into that natural running back that he played back when he was in college, when Chip first had Huff. So give him the ball early, let him get out there, make some plays with his feet without thinking. With those type of routes, there's not a lot of thinking. Just get the ball in his hands and let that natural talent take over and him make a play that way.
All right. Barrett Brooks, of course, Breakfast on Broad, the Comcast Network, 6 to 8 weekday mornings. The guys will be breaking down this game. You going to be able to make it up throughout the game tonight? You going to stay up all night?
Oh, absolutely. I have to, bro. I got to keep it going, man.
Absolutely.
Gotta keep it going.
Well, and then, so let's ask this then. Late in the night, when you're still fighting to stay awake because you got to get up tomorrow morning, is this going to be a game that you think comes down to who has the ball last?
You know what? I think that the Eagles will win convincingly just because they're finally starting to turn the corner and the coaching staff are finally getting guys in a better position. I think now they start to turn around and become an impact team in a division. They become real threat in the division, and they'll show everybody that, okay, now Sam Bradford has finally took on the reins of being the leader of this team. The defense is already a defense that you have to really, really come with your basic fundamentals to try to beat them. Those are things that this team needs, that they can turn the corner and they become a force in this division.
Good stuff. We know Prince Amukamara is out. We think that Beckham will play. It looks like Matthews is questionable. They expect him to play. So both teams do have some injury issues. We know Aguilar and Kendricks both out. So obviously this will be a matchup of some backup guys who can step up. Who's got more depth right now? Barrett, you say Philadelphia. What's the score?
I'm going to say Philadelphia has a better depth. I think Varner's going to get a little time to play. And, of course, Hicks is going to play better because Kendricks is not there. But I'm thinking it's going to be right around 28-17 Eagles.
28-17 Philadelphia. Don't forget, pick the perfect score tonight at 5:30 for $200 this week. There's Barrett's score, everybody. So file that one away. We'll ask you again at 5:30 tonight. All right, man. Hope you can stay awake.
All right, bro. Have a good one, man.